Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Kuwait pilot stream. It is 2000 hours and 1700 Zulu. It's almost difficult to say it after saying 2100 hours for so long. Welcome everyone in chat. We have with us today Morgus 1, Chris, Thomas 13, welcome, Dougal, Stan, welcome guys, MPS Gaming, Gary, welcome aboard, Starwing 750. And we have Andre M. Welcome aboard, folks. And it's a very pleasant evening here in Kuwait City, where it has been actually raining all day. Very unusual for us to get rain in Kuwait this time of the year. Nonetheless, the weather was much cooler than the 40s, upper 40s, or lower 40s in terms of the temperature. So I'm pretty happy about that. So today, folks, we are going to be flying the Horizon Simulations Boeing 787-9 based on popular demand from our last stream. Most of you have voted for this aircraft, so that's what we're going to be doing today. And I'm not sure why the Jetway has decided to just kind of move away from the aircraft. All right, so here is a quick look at our flight plan. Today we are going to be departing Kastrup Airport in Copenhagen, Denmark, and we're going to be heading to Oslo in Norway. And our flight is approximately 1 hour, just a little under 1 hour in terms of airtime, and we're going to be arriving at runway 19 right at Oslo. Final cruise altitude today for our flight is 36,000 feet. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this stream. All right. Now, one thing I will tell you right off the bat is that for some reason, I don't get the call-outs like 500, 10, 5, whatever on this airplane. Some sounds are just not coming up. And I know the problem is indigenous to my computer, my PC, my setup. I don't know. If anyone knows why those call-outs are not coming out, let me know in chat. So let's go ahead and get things started. We are going to hop into the beautiful cockpit of the 787, and we're going to get things ready here. We're going to go to the external battery. Battery is on, and we're going to turn on the external power, and we are good to start. Align the IRSs. FD door power is on. Emergency lights are armed. And the window heat is on. Hydraulics, we'll put these on auto. And we'll put the passenger signs on auto as well. Everything here looks good. We're going to move up here. Now, this aircraft does not have all of the tests functioning. You can test the battery for sure. But, things like the fire test, and those are all INOP at this point in time. So, as well as the CVR and all the other tests. So, we are going to have the left pump forward on to start the APU in just a second. And everything here looks good. We can turn on the PAX to auto. One of the things that is very different in the 787 is that you can turn everything on, everything in auto. So, the PAX would automatically shut down when you are starting the engines. So you don't really need to keep them off or turn them on and off. You can just put them on auto and you're good to go. All right, NTIs can go to auto as well, and we'll leave the rest of the stuff here as it is. Even this doesn't work. So some of the sounds are definitely missing, or maybe they're too low. I don't know, but they just don't. They're just not audible. Okay, so everything is set here. And Carl Childers, welcome aboard. EKCH, welcome, guys. Glad to have you here. Carl, I believe that you should have received an email. You know what I'm talking about. Just check it out. How are you, Dougal? I hope you guys are well. Renan D. Oliveira, welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here. All right. So let's cancel the master caution, and we can go down to the FMC. Actually, let me do one thing, guys. Let me turn those off, And you'll know in a second why. That's because it needs them to be off when I enter the airport. So it's Echo Kilo Charlie Hotel. And then we enter that here. And now we can go to the overhead panel and turn those on. Perfect. And we'll just copy the GPS position and stick it here. Next, we're going to go to the route. Now we can request the route from SimBrief, and it will automatically populate the flight plan and flight ID. And there we go. We're going to say load, and that should populate everything and execute. Perfect. Now for the weight and balance, we are going to go to the menu. So let me go to the index. We're going to go to the settings, weight and balance, and we are going to set it from the operational flight plan. So we'll just give it a second here, and then it should load everything. There we go, completed. So you've got now everything from the operational flight plan for our flight. Now we can continue. So we're going to go to position in it is done. We're going to go to the routes. We're going to select the departure and arrival airports, beg your pardon, citizen stars. So for that, we are going to bring up SimBrief or Navigraph charts. And we are going to enter the departure runway, which is 04 right. 04 right through the Veta for Alpha. Next, Veta for Alpha is right there, and execute that. Then we're going to go back to the index, select the arrival, and the arrival is 19er right, ILS 19er right, and it's the Looney for Mike. Looney for Mike. And we can very quickly take a look at our charts to figure the transition. So the approach and 19er right is the arrival runway. And if we look here, we are coming this way through Golf Mike 453. And so the transition that makes sense is the Titla transition. So we're going to select Titla here, and we're going to say execute. Now if we go to the legs page, just to make sure there are no discontinuities, as we can see here, no discontinuities, all looking good. Perfect. Let's go to init. We have the cruise altitude set. We can click here for the zero fuel, and for the reserves, we can simply come to our flight plan. Boeing Corp Mike from Logan, New Jersey. Welcome aboard, my friend. Darius says, hello, Q8. I was just watching another live. It was the Rotate MD-80, which was 11 months ago. Yeah, that is a fine aircraft. It just received an aircraft, as a matter of fact. It received an update not too long ago. Okay, so reserve fuel is alternate plus final reserve 8412. That's a little bit excessive, I think. So we're just going to put 10. There we go. And CG is done. Everything here is good. Cost index was something we need. And the cost index is 61. All right. All right, 61 is set. And let's execute that. All right, next we are going to derate the takeoff. So we're going to put 57. There we go. And we're going to derate to 80.3. Everything here is good. Let's go to takeoff. We're going to do flaps 15 for the departure. Today, CG is 23. That gives us a trim of 5.75. And then we're going to click V1, rotate, and V2. Excellent. The FMC pre-flight is complete. We're going to set this to, excuse me, 147. Right, 147 is set, and the altitude is 36,000 feet, is now set. LNAV and VNAV should come on with the flight director. LNAV and VNAV are both armed, and we are pretty much good to go. Let's go ahead and bring up the checklist here. This is the pre-flight checklist. And then we can come here. Passenger signs are on. And again, no sounds whatsoever. You can hear all the buttons, you can hear the engines, you can hear everything else except for those. I'm not sure if, again, this is to do with the aircraft or not. MCP, V2, heading, and altitude are set. Takeoff speeds are set. CDU pre-flight is complete. And the trim is 5.7. What was it? 5.75. Okay, let's set the trim real quick. 5.75. Right, 5.75 is set, and the trim is checked. Taxi takeoff briefing is complete, and we can now turn on our beacon. But first, let's come over here and turn on the APU. Start. There we go. Could you please explain where did you get that 57 number on the D rate? Oh, it's just a, you know, I made it up. That's the short answer for you. I just made it up. Hey, Q8, good to see you again. Praying for PMDG to make a proper Boeing 787 Dreamliner. That would be amazing, for sure. Or perhaps Quality Wings can bring theirs into the game. All right, APU is on. You can see now it says avail, meaning that the APU generator has taken over. And we can now turn on our beacon lights. We turn the rest of the fuel pumps. And we are pretty much ready to start the engines now. So we are ready for pushback. Let's go ahead and call GSX. And we are going to prepare for pushback and departure. There we go. Now, one of the cool things in the 787 is you can zoom in. Look at that. All right. If we look at our charts here, so let's click on the airport. This is our departure runway. So it's going to be quite a taxi. We're going to take taxiway Bravo all the way to our runway. Okay. There she is. Look at this aircraft, guys. Wow, looks phenomenal. Not sure about the wing flex. Is that realistic, guys? Do you know? Does it do this in real life? If you're interested in proper D-rated takeoffs when the most accurate flight sim is the VPT with a monthly subscription, yes, VSkyCheck, you are correct there. It's a nice little tool.
Locking gears.
Right, all looking good here. Right, aircraft being lifted. Tomorrow, we are going to be taking an early access look. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking an early access look at a brand new Diamond DA50RG for Microsoft Flight Sim. And I'm quite excited to bring that to you guys. We're going to be doing some fun things with it. All right, so with the 787, you don't do start right and left. You actually go start both, and then you turn on the fuels, the fuel controls as well, immediately for both engines. And you can see here it says auto start, and it will automatically disable, as you can see, the packs for engine start. And those would come back once the engine generators kick in. It will automatically bring the packs online. Why is it facing this way? It should face the other way, but that's okay. That's, I believe, our taxiway. Bravo. Look at those engines. Beautiful Rolls-Royce engines. This pushback truck is doing some really strange things. All right. Well, we have a good start on both engines. That's before start. That's the before taxi. Okay. So we have the NTIs here set. Taxi light will turn them on as soon as we're disconnected from the tow. And let's wait here a little bit. What is this guy doing? He's got to be fired with immediate effect. Benjamin Lopez, welcome aboard. I'm not sure about the wing flex. Very annoying, by the way. But if you take a look at the Phoenix and PMGG aircraft, does the same thing. But in this case, the aircraft moves completely. I see. Hello, Henrik. Welcome aboard. The last Norwegian Dreamliner is parked at Oslo Airport without engines. When the engines are mounted, it will go and airline something. Oh, wow. 747 Enjoyer, welcome aboard. Hello, Raul Rodriguez. One too many drinks. It seems that way, doesn't it? Right, finally he settled on bringing the aircraft here. Okay. All right, so let's come over here. This is on. This should be on auto, and everything else here. Okay. All right, parking brake is set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
And good engine start. Confirm engine start.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
All right, perfect.
Unlocking gear.
It's doing some really strange things. There we go. Okay. That is done, and that's to the runway heading. And we want Bravo, I believe,
Tow truck disconnected.
that this is taxiway Bravo, and that's our runway right there.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Okay. Okay, recall checked, and anti-ice. Recall is checked. Auto brake to rejected takeoff. Flight controls. Full up, full down, full left, and full right. Flight controls all checked. Ground equipment clear. And we can now turn off the APU. APU is off. And we are good to go. Okay. Before takeoff, we are going to be doing flaps 15 today. Right, flaps 15 set. And we are good to go. The only thing we need is the taxi lights. And there we go. Right. Parking brake is released. And off we go. This coming Saturday, folks, we are going to be flying the Fearless 747 Classic. And we're going to be using INS navigation. So we're going to be using the full features of the aircraft. So mark your calendars for this Saturday evening. Our main stream of the week is going to be aboard the Fearless 747-200 Classic. Again, it was a request from one of the moderators actually on the channel. Drishal is the one who's requested the feelers that we go for the 747, and so that's what we're going to be doing. All right, taxiway Bravo for runway 04 right, I believe, or is it 04 left? Which one is it? 04 right. Yes, okay. Right, so that's taxiway Bravo. And off we go. Very nice looking aircraft. Right, we'll make sure left is clear, right is clear, and we'll continue taxi. And if we look here at our chart, as you can see here now, we are on taxiway Bravo. We're going to continue on taxiway Bravo for Bravo 1, and that will put us on the departure runway 04 right. Actually, this plane isn't bad. It's actually pretty good, considering, you know, it's got some really nice modifications. It is based on the default Asobo 787-10. Right, this guy is definitely coming our way, and there is no sign that he's going to stop. All right, we'll just slow down here a little bit, let him pass. All right, there we go. We're good to go. Hey Q8, it's been a long time since I've watched the stream. Work has me busy. I understand, my friend, no worries at all. Glad you could make it. I wonder if PMDG is going to release the 777 FS 2020 or they're going to wait for 2024. Well, according to unconfirmed, unofficial reports that I've heard, that MSFS 2024 is going to be released in September. So I don't know if they're going to wait that long before the release. We're about 4 months away. Well, they could. They actually could do that. How is traffic injected in MSFS? I'm using FSLTL. The beacon lights, I think, are a bit exaggerated on this aircraft. But nonetheless, I do like it. And I do like this rendition of Kastrup Airport in Copenhagen. My very good friend Thomas Rasmussen's home country. By the way, folks, Denmark is really a very, very beautiful country. So if you are ever in Europe, I highly recommend that you visit Denmark. It's just really a very, very nice country to visit. Okay, so we are, that's Bravo, so we are on taxi Bravo Alpha, Bravo 1, was it Bravo 1? Bravo 1. It is indeed a Bravo 1 for departure. Right. And it looks like there's an incoming there. We'll take a look and see if... I don't think he's coming our way, is he? All right. We are... The landing gear was up for some reason. Hey, IFR Captain, welcome aboard. All right. That's Bravo 1. Our entry point for runway 04 right. Landing lights on. Runway turnoff lights are on. And auto throttle is armed. Excellent. All right, and strobe lights on, taxi lights off, and we're good to go. We're cleared for takeoff. All right, let's line up. Looking good. Engines are stable. Again, no call-outs. V1, rotate. Positive rate of climb, gears going up. Wow, this looks amazing. All right. Looking good. 1,000 feet. Autopilot engaged. We're looking good. Okay, we can go to flaps 5. Ah, TCAS, you're right. And we can now retract the flaps. There we go. Continue the climb. What a lovely departure out of Kastrup Airport here in Denmark. Right, looking good. Let's increase the range here. There we go. Everything is per design intent. Why is TCAS still off? There we go. My bad. Now we have TCAS. Bob International Vocal Reaction, welcome aboard. Because Toby is on special now, 15% discount. Toby is very good when set up correctly, like Dougal said, and I prefer it over Track IR, to be honest. Right, runway turn off and landing lights are off, and everything else is good. 10,000 feet. Here's the turn. We're climbing to 300 knots. So what do you guys think of this aircraft? I like it. I like it. It's not study level by any means, but definitely an enjoyable aircraft to fly. Though I have to say that when it lifts off the ground, it feels a bit weird. Is VATSIM worthy? Yes, if you like online ATC, then yeah, it's not bad. You don't always get coverage everywhere, but definitely when there is coverage, it's very good. Raul, this is a free aircraft, freeware. The link to it is provided either through the airplane command. So !aircraft will provide you with the link to download it for free. And also in the stream description, you'll also find the link to it. All right. So we are continuing our climb, and just a quick reiteration of what we're going to be doing this week in terms of content. Tomorrow, we are going to be taking a look at an early access Diamond DA50RG for Microsoft Flight Sim. The aircraft has been provided to me courtesy of ORBX, and we are going to be performing the usual. We're going to be taking a look at the visuals, the aircraft features, and of course, we're going to do some stalls and things like that to really put it to the test. So that's going to be tomorrow or Thursday, depending on my work schedule. So I'll have to, I'll have to let you guys know by late this evening when is the what is these stutterers and pauses there? Why are they happening? That's probably FSLTL. It's loading traffic. So I'll let you know later this evening whether we are going to be able to make it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Thursday for sure. Our main event for the week on Saturday is going to be a flight from Charlotte Douglas International to John F. Kennedy Airport in X-Plane 12, and we are going to be taking the magnificent Queen of the Skies, the Fearless 747-200 Classic in that stream. And of course, I will be doing a very detailed run through the pre-flight, the before start, after start. So we're going to be doing a very detailed startup procedure of the Fearless, including the setup of the INS devices during that stream. So stay tuned for that and mark your calendars. That's going to be Saturday. What Zulu time? It's going to be 1700 Zulu. All right, 22,000 for 36,000, and as you can see here, we are climbing to our cruise altitude. No incident whatsoever. Everything is looking in tip-top shape here as we continue our flight. By the way, are we flying in? Let's see here. Let's fly in real time. How about that? Let's fly in real time and real weather. Perfect. All right. So the only thing that I've, with the test flight that I've done with this aircraft, it was a little bit difficult to, without the call-outs, to land the aircraft exactly at the touchdown zone, because my point of reference is always when it says 20. And, you know, it says like 20, 10, 5. When it says 20 is when I normally retard the throttles. And so without that reference, I just kind of have to wing it. For some reason, I'm not getting the call-outs on this aircraft. There are a few other sounds that are missing. I noticed, for example, some of the sounds on the ATR are also missing. I really am not sure why. It feels like rotate. It rotates too quickly, and it is not flaring, in my opinion. Flaring in the 787 is not straightforward. So it is a little bit different, but and the reason why I say that is the 787 has a very, very unique characteristics with its wings, and so the energy is quite high with the 787. So if you come to land and you want to flare, you have to do it at the exact time, and the 787 normally has very high approach speeds. So whatever you're experiencing is probably pilot induced rather than a problem with the aircraft. So yeah, I think it requires some practice. It's very different, by the way, from the 737 or Airbus in the way that it flies, especially the flare. It does rotate quickly. Again, the 787 does rotate quickly in real life, and that is due to its wingspan, the shape of the wings, and the fact that normally, because the 787-9 and -10 normally they are very long aircraft, and so they require quite a bit of flaps. So as you've seen, we've departed with flaps 15, and what that means is you're going to get more lift. And so because the aircraft is very long, the reason you deploy the flaps to flaps 15 is to avoid a tail strike, and that in turn will provide additional lift for the aircraft. And so it will, once it rotates, it will really rotate very quickly, and it can almost do a vertical climb due to its very unique characteristics. The wings are very efficient, that's right. And you can see how much they raise up when they take the load in flight. Correct. They flex quite a lot, yes. Did you forget the nav lights on? Nav lights normally are turned on during... yeah, we can turn them on, that's okay. And we can, as a matter of fact, we can turn off the fasten seatbelt signs. There we go. And now we're good. Yeah, we continue the climb to 30,000 feet. 36,000 feet, beg your pardon. And the weather is nice. Here, let's take a look at the outside. There you go, lovely weather. All right, perfect. Unfortunately, this aircraft does not have a passenger cabin, so it only has the cockpit. Not a big deal for me. I'm not a big fan of passenger cabins anyway, but yeah, it doesn't have one. But it's free, so can't complain there. Q8, what's your opinion on Active Sky for MSFS? Okay, so IFR Captain, in all honesty, this is what I think. Based on all the tests that I have performed thus far of Active Sky for MSFS, the weather that it generates is tenfold more realistic than what MSFS provides as far as the realism. So, beg your pardon, in terms of the accuracy. The weather in Microsoft Flight Sim in about 90% of the time is over-dramatized in terms of the visuals. So the clouds look more dramatic, and I think this is done intentionally by Asobo to provide the sim with a more, dramatic look. But very careful examination of the METAR generated by Active Sky and checking out weather sources, real-world weather sources, and taking a look at the layer of the clouds, Active Sky nails it. And you would see the cloud layers at exactly what you see in the METAR. And the actual cloud type is done to an acceptable standard as well. For example, when there's an overcast, you will see an overcast with Active Sky, but you will not see an overcast in Microsoft Flight Sim default weather because they always just have those really big puffed clouds. And so in terms of accuracy, it is the crown goes to the crown goes definitely to Active Sky. If the one thing I do not like in Active Sky that I think Microsoft Flight Sim default weather does very, very well is the transition of weather from one station to the other. In Active Sky, you will see the weather completely clears, and then you'll see the new METAR being loaded. And so to me, that is a big, big immersion breaker. For me, at this altitude, if the weather is, if it doesn't look exactly like the METAR, for me, for my purpose, I don't really care. The clearing of weather and reloading it again, to me, is just an immersion breaker. And I just don't like it at all. I've tried loading a flight plan similar to X-Plane. So in X-Plane, if you have a flight plan filed in SimBrief and you load that flight plan into Active Sky XP, you will not get those, transition, the clearing of weather during the transition from one station to the other. But unfortunately, that is not the case with Active Sky for Microsoft Flight Sim. And that is my honest opinion. They changed the transition to be more smooth. Starwing 750, I will take a look. For this reason, I did not want to do the full review. So we did a first look in one of my streams. And I promised you guys I will do a dedicated video with the settings, with everything there is to learn about it. But I normally, when I do the first review, especially when I see things that are not right, I will tell you that I believe Hi-Fi should have waited. They should have had an alpha and a beta and maybe tested out some more. I think this was a rushed release, but I always like to give developers a little bit of time after initial release before, I render my final verdict. Thus far, in terms of accuracy, Active Sky is the crown, without a doubt. All right, 36,000 feet, ladies and gents, and top of descent is not too far from our current location. So we are going to come to the arrival at 19er right. And let's see here, 19er right is right here. And let's close that one. So that's 19er right. All we need here is the... okay, so actually we need 3,500. Okay, so if we come down here to the legs page, and we're going to come here and put VNAV, and here we can see that TD 69, 68 nautical miles. So very short flight, and so we're going to go ahead and go to 3,500 feet. 3,500. All right, I'll put that there. 3,500 feet is set. Perfect. Everything's good here. And we'll go to the normal checklist. That's the after takeoff checklist. And the next one is the descent checklist. Okay, perfect. All right, if we come to the init page here, we are going to do flaps 30. Flaps 30, and the VREF is 150. Again, as you can see, very high speeds for the 787. So that is set, and legs page, and voila, we're all done. Excellent. So we'll begin the descent shortly. Yes, they did retire their 787s. That's for sure. I think they sold most of them. Right, so a lot of you guys have been asking me, in fact, on every stream, Q8, what do you think of MSFS? What do you think of X-Plane? Which one is your favorite? And I think for our armchair adventurers out there, choosing a simulator can be a daunting task. So we are going to, let me tell you first of all, in terms of graphics and scenery, okay? Now, the eye candy, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator takes the crown for jaw-dropping visuals. Bing Maps data and Azure AI creates for, stunning photorealistic world, whereas X-Plane 12 scenery might not be quite as flashy, but it holds its own. The landscapes are still attractive, and the developers are constantly improving them. So no complaints there. Now, in terms of flight dynamics, I would say this. The flight dynamics is where X-Plane 12 shines. It uses blade element theory that creates incredibly realistic aircraft behavior. So prepare for a flight model that feels remarkably close to the real thing. That's what X-Plane provides. Now, Microsoft Flight Sim dynamics are not so, they're not bad, but they're actually pretty good. Then they've made significant improvements since launch, but for most of the casual simmers, it might be okay. But the serious people, the serious folks, are definitely not going to find it as realistic as X-Plane. Out of the box, Microsoft Flight Sim has a wider selection of aircraft, but X-Plane's true strength, X-Plane 12's true strength lies in its open nature. There's a vast library of third-party add-ons that lets you customize your hangar and practically any plane imaginable. This extends to scenery as well. X-Plane's open platform allows creators to expand the virtual world significantly. In terms of weather, both sims offer dynamic weather systems, allowing you to experience the thrill or terror of real-world conditions. Microsoft Flight Sim, though, excels at integrating live weather data, making your virtual flights feel truly connected to the real world. X-Plane does that as well, but I think in terms of the representation of meteorological data, I think that's where the crown goes to Microsoft Flight Sim. Now, in terms of performance, X-Plane 12 tends to run smoother on a wider range of machines. Microsoft Flight Sim can be quite demanding, especially with all its graphical bells and whistles. In terms of the price, Microsoft Flight Sim comes with a base price while offering, additional content through the marketplace. X-Plane 12 has a one-time purchase cost, but keep in mind that many add-ons come with a hefty price tag as well. So which one should you choose? Which simulator reigns supreme? It depends on your priorities. If breathtaking visuals and a user-friendly experience are your top concerns, Microsoft Flight Simulator might be the perfect co-pilot for you. For those who prioritize realistic flight dynamics, deep customization options, and smooth performance, X-Plane 12 is definitely yours. So those are my concluding remarks on this, so to speak, the battle between MSFS and X-Plane 12 and which simulator reigns supreme. And it really is the answer to that question. As I've just summarized, it really depends on your priorities. What is it that you're looking for? You don't care about the flight dynamics. You just want to fly in a world that is visually beautiful. You want to do a beautiful VFR flight and fly by your house. It's possible in Microsoft Flight Sim, and maybe it is a little bit more difficult to achieve that in X-Plane. It's not far off in terms of what it offers visually, in my opinion. And that is a wrap, guys. That is what I honestly believe in terms of both sims. I hope that it provides you with sufficient insight to decide on your simulator if you don't have one as of right now. Gotta go to okay, no problem. See you, Carl. Take care. Yeah. Do you have a sound pack installed? Maybe that's causing that issue with the callouts. I don't have any sound packs, no. Very, very strange. It might be one of the add-ons I have. I'm not sure which one, but something is off for sure because I don't get a lot of the sounds in the ATR. I definitely don't get the fire test sounds as well in the ATR. So I suspect that there might be something that is causing that. Clouds in X-Plane 12 are good. Yes, they are, and they're getting better and better. They don't look as good as this, to be honest. I mean, look at this, but they're getting there for sure. All right, if we take a look here, top of descent in 5 nautical miles. The MCP altitude is already set, and we are okay. So recall check. Right, so that's check, and auto brake to auto brake 1. Landing data is done, and let's take a quick look here. Okay. All right, so if we go to our flight plan here, to the chart, beg your pardon. All right, so 50. Let's set the baro to 50. And there's the top of descent. 50 is set. And at exactly the top of descent mark, the aircraft began the automatic descent. Here are some external screenshots. I believe these are the default views of the aircraft. Now that is a nice looking scene right there. Look at that wing view there. Lovely textures as well on this specific livery. Right, approach briefing is complete and the descent checklist is complete. Next is the approach checklist. Altimeters, yeah, we'll set those in a second, and then we'll go for the landing checklist. Hello, Flogan. Welcome aboard. McKnight is the biggest robbery ever. Look, I wouldn't call it that. I will tell you one thing. When the guys, the McKnight team, the development team, the very first guy who started the McKnight project, reached out to me many years ago, and he said, look, Q8, we are developing a 787, and we'd like you to, you know, be one of the first people to review it. And I happily accepted. But the caveat there, and what I tell developers, I will give you my honest opinion about the aircraft, and I will report that same opinion to the community. And they said, yeah, well, we're looking for improving, and, you know, and we're totally fine with that. So I started taking a look at the aircraft, and I gave them a lot of feedback. And the price is just, it's way too high for, you know, for what the aircraft does. And still until this very day, after being in development for so many years, still got issues with VNAV. It's just really, really, really bad. In my view, the 787 by McKnight should be in the range between, anywhere between $15 and $20. That is it. And it's just way overpriced for what the aircraft does. The EFB is pretty buggy. It's just really, it's got terrible sounds, doesn't fly right. It's just got a lot of issues. And they were upset with my feedback, but you know, too bad. That's what I've experienced. That's what I'm going to report. So yeah, I do agree. I don't think it's a robbery though. I wouldn't call it robbery. I would not call it scam. No, this is actually a developer who's developed an aircraft. He's vested a lot of time and effort in developing the aircraft. And that's sincerely, I think he's very sincere in what he's trying to do. The project is very much active. There are updates that are still coming to the aircraft. But I think just the asking price is just too high for what the aircraft does and still has a lot of issues. So from that perspective, I think the price is not justified and they have got to do something about the interior textures as well as the sounds. Let alone, of course, the systems, which is a disaster. The VNAV on that aircraft is just a disaster. Thrust simulations, welcome aboard. Isn't FF doing a 787? I don't know. I heard something like that. They went radio silent also. I think they quit with everything. The customer service is awful. Oh, they did quit. Oh, okay. What update is still coming to the McKnight aircraft? I think looking at the last update was not too long ago, if I recall correctly. Highway robbery. Be nice, guys. Be nice. Last update was in August 2023. Oh, really? Wow. Hi, Sam. I missed the alert for this flight. No worries at all, Rand. Welcome aboard, my friend. Yeah, please. I agree with Dougal, guys. There's no robbery there. The guy has put in effort. He's put an aircraft out there. If you like it, you can buy it. If you don't, then you don't buy it. But he's not ripping your money off by any means. So I have a lot of respect for the guys over at McKnight for their efforts, for their development. I disagree on a lot of the things that they've done. But by no way, shape, or form did they try to, trick you into buying their aircraft. No worries, Fulgen, no worries. No problem. XB12 long-haul recommendations. The Felis 747, the Concorde by Kalimata. Those are the long-haul recommendations for now. And of course you have the Tolus A340 as well. Right, doing well, 21,000 feet. And let's go ahead and take a look at the outside. Now this is something I like in MSFS. This looks a very convincing scene. It looks like a real aircraft flying in the sky. The clouds, the light scattering, the cloud scattering, the overall scene looks very convincing. FF767-400. Yeah, that. I think it does qualify as a long haul airliner. Yeah. But to be very honest with you, Penji, between the Tolus A340, the Felis 747, and the Flight Factor 767, I would always go with either the Tolus or the Felis. I personally would not go for the Flight Factor. Short-haul Tolus A310, A320, and Zibo 737 all study aircraft. Yep, absolutely. 28, can't wait for the Tolus A330. Same here, my friend. I'm really waiting for that one. And it's going to be it's going to be a collaboration, I think. No, I think the collaboration is the A350. So Tolis and Flight Factor are working together on an A350, I suppose. And there is an A330 by Tolis. So that is an aircraft I'm really waiting for. Good, I have them both, but I have to learn the Felis. The Felis, Raul, does take quite a bit of a learning curve to learn, but trust me, once you learn it, once you understand the flows, it is one of the most enjoyable aircraft to fly. Not only is the depth of system simulation done to a very high degree of accuracy, but the flight model has also been vouched for by real-world 747-200 Classic pilot. So I was very fortunate to have come across a real-world retired 747 pilot. He used to be with Kuwait Airways. Kuwait Airways used to have the 747-200 in its fleet. In fact, one of those aircraft was hijacked, Al Jabriya, and he was a flight engineer in Kuwait Airways. In fact, he was amongst the very first to be a certified flight engineer for the 747, and then he became an instructor, and after becoming an instructor, he became a pilot. He has, I don't know, 40,000 hours on the type. So he's a very experienced pilot. Of course, he's retired and he's quite old now. But I had the pleasure of having a very long conversation with him on the 747. And I told him, look, how about I show you a 747-200 aircraft in a flight sim? Would you be interested? He said, yeah. My experience with, back in the days, they did not have the simulators that were, advanced like they have them today. So I actually showed him the Felis 747, and for about 5 minutes, the guy was just frozen, looking at the screen. And I was showing him the aircraft features. I started, the electrical power, and he said, "My God, this looks exactly like the real aircraft." So from the looks, it looks exactly the same. Then I started showing. He actually taught me a few things about the aircraft. And he tells me, this is great because this is nostalgic for me. I feel like I'm back, back in the cockpit. So I gave him the controls. I let him fly the aircraft. And he looked at me 3 times and he said, this is pretty realistic. This feels like the real aircraft. So, I mean, that is really a testament to the work that Felis has done. And Felis is also a very, very smart developer. He's a very smart programmer. And so as soon as he receives feedback or reads new information, then he goes and he programs that into the aircraft. And that's why the aircraft is very much under active development and is constantly being improved. Our view should be respectfully honest. Absolutely. Absolutely. He is very, Thomas, you are right there. He is very, very open for feedback. And that's something I love about Felis. The same thing goes for Marco, the director of Xcraft. He's just really very open. He's very open-minded. He likes to receive constructive criticism. And then he goes and he makes things happen. There was another one who was just, wow. AKD Studio. If you guys recall the stream we did on his business jet, and I was very critical of that aircraft. The guy stayed throughout the stream, and, he answered questions, and in the end he said, thank you very much for the feedback. We're going to work on it, and we're going to improve the aircraft. And sure enough, he's working on a new version of the aircraft. So developers in this time, this day and time, developers have to listen to the community. They just have no choice. If they don't, believe me, it's going to be the end of their business. They have got to listen to what the community says and don't be defensive. If there are any developers out there, do not be defensive when, a content creator or a viewer, says negative things about your aircraft. I do understand you vested your time in it and it's your baby, and it's something that you feel is part of you, but remember, that's you. That's how you view it. How the community receives it is a whole different ball game. The Challenger 650 is the single most accurate, complex, and study-level aircraft ever created for flight sim. And I don't think, quite honestly, that we will see anything in the near future that is that accurate and that detailed. It's not a long-haul flight, it's not a long-haul airline or aircraft, but it's definitely the most complex. Right, 10,000 feet, landing lights coming on, and we're going to turn on the runway turn-off lights. Fasten seatbelt signs are on. Again, we can't hear anything there, so we're just going to have to wing it. Right, we're looking good. Speed is good. We're descending below 10,000. I think there is a restriction at 10,000. Let's take a quick look here. No, 900,000. There is a restriction. We are going to be landing 19 right. This is active sky? No, this is the default MSFS. You definitely learn a lot with the Challenger 650. Not only how to fly the aircraft, but I think one of the nice things in the Challenger 650 is you learn how jet engine works. You learn how the fuel valves open and close. You learn just the operation of business jets, how it's actually done, thanks to the FBO. So it really gives you the experience of a real-world corporate pilot. And that's something I really have a lot of appreciation for in the Challenger 650. Great aircraft. Pax003 says, do you think the Flight Factor made the right choice selling an upgrade of their A320 for X-Plane 12 instead of just offering it as a free upgrade? No, I think they made the wrong decision, to be honest. Because, first of all, it looks terrible right now, the X-Plane 12 version, and it did not really offer anything new other than X-Plane 12 adaptations. Now, I would understand if the aircraft was built from the ground up, but this was not the case. And so, again, I do understand what they've done it. It's probably done for business reasons. I mean, these guys have to survive in the end. They have to put food on the table. They have to pay salaries and things like that. So I do understand where they're coming from. I just don't agree with it. And there's another developer. I'm not going to disclose the name or the add-on, but had a similar situation, and they've done something in order to generate a little bit of money to help the developer. But while I really understand the position of the developers, and I understand that they need to make a living, I just don't agree with the practice of releasing something for a cash cow. Yeah, that's the term. I don't agree with that. Surprise the heck out of Did you hear Fly-by-Wire is working on releasing an A380? Oh yeah, that's big news, and it's old news. The question is when? It's taken them forever. Now I'll tell you guys one thing I've learned in this life. There's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as 100%. 80% is a go, in my view. But I really don't know what they're doing. My hunch is, by the way, they're going to release it with MSFS 2024. That's my hunch. In fact, they might actually make it bundled with MSFS. So my hunch is that they're going to make it part of the sim. Just like AnyBuilds did, I think they're going to do something similar. That's my hunch. I don't know. I just anticipation. Perfection is the enemy of excellence. Well said, my friend. AnyBuilds A350, yes, I heard about that, and I heard that they're working on an A380 as well. No ETA, though, but the A350, they said in 2024. I'm not sure if they said 2024, but it must be something they've been working on. So AnyBuilds is a good company. There are a few things that, well, I'll just keep them to myself. They don't affect you guys, so there's no point in saying things that, you know, don't affect you guys. So I'll just leave it to myself. But they're a great company. They create very high quality add-ons, and definitely their flagship aircraft, the AnyBuilds A300, the A310, the Beluga, are just outstanding aircraft for X-Plane. Thoughts on the tallest A330? Yeah, man, I can't wait for it. I wish they not... Yeah, I'm with you there, Raul. They just completely ignored X-Plane. Q8, Hot Start is working on an A220 for XP. Do you have news on that? No, I don't. All right, let's take a quick look here at the outside. And the lovely terrain of Norway. Oh, just look at that turn. Lovely. Those engines are just so nice looking. Boeing seems to be in a lot of trouble lately. I really am not sure what's going on with their quality control, but they are definitely under some pressure now, and they've had too many incidents in a very short period of time. Right, everything is good. We are at 9,000, which is a restriction. They have lost their way. Yeah, I agree. I hope that they can recover, but I know that it also is going to be very, very difficult. They've lost a lot of their customers. They lost a lot of their reputation. Right, altimeters are set. And the last one is the landing checklist. Okay. What do you think Boeing could do to fix their current situation and improve? Well, for one, see, the beginning of correcting any problem is admitting guilt. They have to come out clean and say, we messed up. Big time, and this is exactly where we messed up. Yeah, we cut down on, maybe we fired people, we don't have as many manpower, maybe we are ignoring the demands of our employees, maybe we wanted to make money quickly, and we lost the way, but we are now going to correct that. So the first thing is the admittance of guilt. Then they need to very quickly say what are they going to do in order to bring back the quality practice that we are all accustomed to when we hear the name Boeing. And I think from there, then they need to start showing results. And if they do that, I think they are going to salvage a little bit of their, what's left of their reputation as a company. But right now, they're just under a lot of scrutiny. Even the FAA is after them. So they're, of course, a giant in the aviation industry. So they're not a small company, but they need to get their act together. Hire engineers in their executive board. They should. See, for me, in any company that is a technical company, I always think that there should be, people from within the industry. Don't bring those business people that understand nothing about aircraft and let them run an aviation company. Always bring people who understands aviation, understand aircraft, they're engineers, they know what they're talking about. The minute you start bringing business people, game over. You need business people, obviously, to make the company profitable. But I think anything to do with the actual product development, the quality control, the safety, like passenger safety, those are the kind of things that you need experts. And you need also, from a governance perspective, you need somebody to be able to overlook the practices of the company from a board perspective. So imagine if the board had, like an engineer and somebody who's an expert in safety, somebody who's expert in, for example, materials, raw material, manufacturing. That's the kind of board that you should have, in my view. Boeing lobbyists will be hard at work. My airline, thankfully, is all Airbus. We still have our problems as well. Oh, you work for Airbus. Oh, okay. Well, welcome. Hello there, Reggae 120. Welcome. Okay. We are looking good. 185. We are almost there. And I really am not sure what I'm going to do with the no call-outs, but we'll figure something out. We'll rely on our experience. And we are going to be recording the landing and doing a replay afterwards. Right, speed brake is armed. We're looking good. I really like that motto, for every child, a childhood. Very nice. Look at that wing flex. Just lovely. All right. By the way, folks, after landing, we're going to be taking a look at Mega Airport Oslo by Aerosoft. This is one hell of a detailed airport, and so we're going to take a look at it once we land. Even though Boeing has many issues, still not scared to fly with them. No, I'm never scared to fly with Boeing aircraft. That's not what I was trying to say. But as a company, I think they have a few things to improve. My hopes for 787 and X-Plane 12 were dashed away. Slow on updates for said payware version. Yeah. I saw a recent announcement that Anybuilds was moving from flight simulation to racing simulation. Any knowledge of that? Really? No, not really. I wouldn't be surprised. I know that they've created a car recently, which was like, what? So why are you guys creating a car? So I mean, it could be that this rumor has instigated based on, based on this last car that they've created. But I have no idea. I haven't been following any builds news for the longest time now. I follow whatever they, whatever I hear on, FS Elite or Threshold Store. That's it. I don't follow the company. Oh. April Fool joke, huh? Yes, Thrust Simulations. I saw the message. FSS Aegis got updated with the FMS speed and some new things. So we're going to be taking a look at the aircraft in the days to come for sure. All right. We are very close to our destination now. So we are going to go to flaps 10. One of the things in the 787, as you see, as I start deploying the flaps, you'll see that the speed also reduces automatically. And we are looking good. This is the turn. I'm going to engage the approach. And now we can see here, LNAV, localizer, VNAV, and glide slope. And the airport is to our left. That's the airport right there. Right, let's come here. No, actually, let's leave it. We'll record a little later. That's 19er right. Localizer captured. Just look at this beautiful aircraft, guys. All right. And we are going to go to flaps 15. We have the runway in sight. All right. Now, we can use the HUD. Oops. There we go. Nah. I don't like it. All right, let's go ahead and select gear down. And we're going to go flaps 20. All right, and let's begin recording. Recording the sequence. Perfect. We're looking good. All right, reference speed and flaps 30. All right, so what I'm going to do, folks, is we're going to disconnect the autopilot at 1,000 feet, and we're going to pretty much wing it. The landing checklist is complete, and we have the runway in sight. All's looking good. I agree with you there, Thrust Simulations. It is a great aid for flying the aircraft, for landing and takeoff both. But just look at those flaps. What a lovely sight as we come into land here at Oslo. Right, we're looking good. Land 3. 1,400. Autopilot disengaged. My aircraft. Auto throttle off. And no call outs, nothing. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oslo International Airport. Reverse. Knots. Manual braking. And we'll take the next taxiway. There we go. What do you guys think? The landing rate was 179 FPM. All right. What we can do is we can take a look at the replay real quick. So let's click here on replay. We're going to say plus. We're going to move it a little bit so we are closer. There we go. And then we can remove that. Look at those wings, guys. Just really, really nice. Thank you, Fly Right. Thank you very much. I take 179 any day of the week. Thanks, Dougal. Thank you, Eurotexan. Appreciate it, my friend. There you go. That is a really nice looking scene here as we came into land. It was a bit difficult without the call-outs, but I think we've done well. How about that? Pretty cool, huh? So we're gonna come here.
What a touchdown. All my body was shaking.
All right. Okay, stop that. What is it doing? Come on. Okay, we stopped that. Why is it not... all right, there we go. Okay, so I have control of the aircraft again, and we can now taxi to the gate. Where do we want to go? I believe this is the the local terminal, and the international terminal is on the other side. So let's go ahead and retract our flaps. Right, flaps are retracted, and we can turn off the landing lights. Runway turn off lights, taxi on, strobes off, and we can start the APU. Why is it not starting? It says fault. Okay. All right, flaps are up. Just look at the marking on the ground here. Again, this is Aerosoft Mega Airport Oslo. A very, very nice rendition of the airport for Microsoft Flight Sim. We could park at the this terminal here. But I believe this is the local terminal. And the international terminal is a bit farther away. Maybe we'll just come and land somewhere here. Look at this airport, guys. Yeah, we'll just park the aircraft somewhere there. There's an empty spot straight ahead. So we'll just take that one. I'm kind of going all over the place here. Very, very nice airport. Lovely. The markings there are just so nice. Maybe that's a bit too small for us, isn't it? Yeah, it looks a bit small for our aircraft, but that's all right. We'll just bring it to a stop here. And you can already see the passengers in the terminal. All right, parking brake set. The first thing you'll notice is how beautiful the jetways are. All right, let's go ahead and kill the engines. And we're going to turn on the external power. Right. Perfect. Why are the lights still on? Everything is off here. Ah, there we go. And there you have it, folks. We are at the terminal. Let's see if we can bring the jetway. Let's say operate jetway. Yeah, it says too small. Operate the jetway. Will it work? Yeah, it will work. It's doing strange things, but There you go. Automatic. The door has opened. And we can now have our passengers disembark. There we go. Alrighty. Welcome to Oslo. Okay, now what we're going to be doing, folks, is we are going to be taking a look at this airport. Let's see, there we go. Alright, so first let's take a look, a top-bottom look at the airport, and I think this looks just absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Look at the entire airport. You can see the ground markings, the taxiway markings as well. Everything is done to a very, very high standard by Aerosoft, as you can see here. You can see the tunnel there. Lovely departure there from the other side of the airport. And here's the other side of the tunnel, as you can see. And you can look at the lights. You can see the lights here. Look at this detail. This sort of detail is just wow. I mean, this is commendable work by Aerosoft. Okay, so we can actually go here. Let's go to the terminal. And you can see that we can go up here. I'm going to turn off, come here and say stop that, because I want you to hear the sounds inside the terminal. In fact, let me also turn off XP Realistic. There we go. Okay. You guys can hear that, right? You can see the guys, can see people walking in the airport. Look at the signage there. How about that, guys? I mean, it just really is so well done in every respect. All right, let's go downstairs. There we go. You can even hear the guy's little bag here. Listen to this. Now, isn't that cool? Hear the passenger announcement there. Unbelievable.
Attention everyone at Oslo Airport. For security reasons, please look after your personal belongings and do not leave any baggage unattended.
I mean, this is just absolutely gorgeous. Very, very nice. All right. Let's move to the... Now, all of these terminals are properly modeled. But if you look at also at the jetway, look at the jetways, guys. Again, for, you know, like for the... You can... for the bigger aircraft, they have 2 jetways. And this is just so well done. Look at the glass. Look at how beautiful this is done. The use of PBR materials. You can hear even the cars. I mean, if you go down here, look at the cars there and all the cargo containers, the apron area, the ground services. Just amazing. And here is, yeah, let me just go to the other side. There you go. Again, look at the ads there. right here. And it's even got the automatic doors. Look at that. I mean, this level of detail is just insane. Look at that. Wow. Then you can go through the security. Then you can go to the duty free. So let me just go this way. Yeah, there we go. And again, this terminal, again, is fully modeled. Look at that. You can hear the passengers talking. You can see the people walking. Did we hear a piano just now? Ah, there he is. Guy playing the piano. Again, just really a lovely airport. Highly recommended airport for Microsoft Flight Sim, ladies and gents. There you go. And in terms of performance, if we bring to the FPS counter and take a look here, about 75, 76 FPS. Let me go into the cockpit here. So it is a bit hard on frames. So I'm getting about 66 FPS. By the way, with the 737 by PMDG, I get more frames. I get like 80 frames here parked at the gate with FSLTL. But this aircraft, for some reason, seems to require a bit more resources. I feel like I'm there, recognizing everything. It is amazing indeed. It is amazing indeed. Yeah, it's a very, very well-developed airport by Aerosoft. One of the best airports I've seen, actually, for Microsoft Flight Sim to date, in terms of the rendition, in terms of just the authenticity. It looks really nice. It was actually fun. I enjoyed looking through the terminal because I've never been to this airport in real life. So now at least I have an idea what it looks like. Well, folks, this pretty much brings us to the conclusion of our live stream this evening. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed streaming it for you. Do not forget that tomorrow evening, we will be again at the same time at 1700 Zulu. We will be taking a look at an early access Diamond DA50RG for Microsoft Flight Simulator. All the details will be provided in tomorrow's stream. On Saturday, we are going to be flying the fearless Boeing 747-200 with INS navigation for our main event of the week. But until then, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in, and good night.